My name is Monica Rivera, and I was 32 years old when I learned that some people will risk your life to get free labor, and the word emergency stops meaning anything when your family uses it like a coupon code. The call came at 6:17 m on a Saturday. I was still in bed, half asleep, when my phone started vibrating on the nightstand. My brother's name lit up the screen. Nathan never called me early unless something was wrong. I answered immediately, my heart already starting to race. Nathan? What's wrong? His voice came through urgent, stressed. Monica, it's Mom. She fell down the stairs about an hour ago. We're at the ER right now. She's asking for you. She keeps saying your name. Can you come? The fear hit me like ice water. Our mother was 63 years old with osteoporosis. A fall down the stairs could mean broken bones, head trauma, internal bleeding, any number of terrible things. Oh my God, is she okay? What did the doctor say? They're still running tests. It's not good, Monica. She really needs you here. Can you come? I sat up, already reaching for my jeans on the chair next to my bed. I'm 7 hours away, Nathan, but I'm leaving right now. Which hospital? St. Mary's. Just get here as fast as you can, okay? I have to go. They're calling me back. The line went dead. I want you to understand something about the moment that followed. When someone you love is hurt, your brain doesn't process logistics. It doesn't think about convenience or planning or whether the timing is good. It just moves. I threw on clothes. I grabbed my purse, my phone charger, a hoodie. I didn't pack a bag because I wasn't thinking about staying overnight. I was thinking about getting to my mother before something worse happened. I was in my car 7 minutes after Nathan's call ended. That's when I checked my phone and saw the alerts I'd been ignoring in my panic. Severe weather warnings. Tropical Storm Helena was passing through the region, bringing heavy rain and dangerous winds. The advisory said to avoid unnecessary travel. I stared at that alert for maybe 10 seconds. Then I put my phone in the cup holder and started driving. Because my mother was in the emergency room asking for me, and a storm wasn't going to stop me from getting there. The drive from hell started in light rain. For the first hour, it was manageable. I gripped the steering wheel tighter than normal, kept my speed down, focused on the road. The windshield wipers worked on their highest setting, sweeping away sheets of water that made visibility difficult, but not impossible. I called Nathan twice. Both times it went to voicemail. I told myself he was probably with the doctors, getting updates, too busy to answer. Of course he couldn't answer. This was an emergency. By hour 2, the rain had gotten worse. Much worse. The kind of rain where your headlights barely cut through the gray wall of water in front of you, where you can't see the lane markers and you're just following the taillights of the car ahead of you and praying they know where they're going. The wind started picking up around hour 3. I could feel it shoving my car sideways on the highway. I had to grip the wheel with both hands just to keep straight. Semi-trucks threw up walls of spray when I passed them. Twice I had to pull over to the shoulder just to catch my breath and let my hands stop shaking. I should have stopped. I should have pulled off at a rest stop or a hotel and waited for the storm to pass. But every time I thought about stopping, I pictured my mother in a hospital bed, asking for me, wondering why I hadn't come. Maybe thinking I didn't care enough to make the trip, so I kept driving. Hour 4, I hydroplaned. It happened on a curve. I was going maybe 50 miles per hour, already slower than the speed limit, when I hit a section of standing water. The car just floated. For 3 or 4 seconds that felt like 3 or 4 minutes, I had no control. The steering wheel was useless. The car drifted sideways across 2 lanes. I remember very clearly thinking, this is how I die. Then the tires caught pavement again. The car jerked, straightened out, and I was back in my lane, alive, shaking so hard I could barely hold the wheel. I pulled onto the shoulder and sat there with my hazard lights on, crying and hyperventilating and telling myself I was fine, I was okay, nothing happened. My phone rang. Nathan. I answered it so fast I nearly dropped it. Nathan. Is Mom okay? Monica? Where are you? I'm about 3 hours away. I hydroplane, but I'm fine. I'm still coming. How's Mom? What did the doctor say? There was a pause, just long enough to make my stomach drop. Monica, why are you 3 hours away? I didn't understand the question. Because I'm driving there. You said Mom was in the ER. You said she fell down the stairs. Another pause. Longer this time. Yeah, about that. So Mom's fine. She's actually in the kitchen right now. But listen, we really need your help with something. I stopped hearing words. My brain just stopped processing sound into meaning. I sat there on the shoulder of the highway, in the middle of a tropical storm, with rain hammering on the roof of my car and wind rocking it back and forth, and I felt something inside me go very, very still. What did you just say? My voice came out flat. Calm. The kind of calm that comes right before an explosion. Okay, so I know you're probably annoyed, but hear me out. We're moving my stuff into the new apartment today, and we really need help loading the truck. Dad threw out his back last week, and Mom's not strong enough to lift the heavy furniture, and I knew if I just asked you to drive down for moving help, you'd say no because of the storm. You told me Mom was in the emergency room. Well, yeah, but I knew that was the only way you'd actually come. And you're already 3 hours away, so you might as well just finish the drive, right? We really need the help, Monica. The lease on my old place ends Monday, and I haven't even started packing the big stuff. I hung up. I sat there staring at the rain-covered windshield, watching the water run down in rivers, and I tried to make sense of what had just happened. My brother had called me at 6 in the morning and told me our mother had fallen down the stairs and was in the emergency room asking for me. I had driven for 4 hours through a tropical storm. I had nearly died when my car hydroplaned on a curve at 50 miles per hour, and it was all a lie. Not a misunderstanding, not an exaggeration, a deliberate, calculated lie designed to manipulate me into driving through dangerous weather to help move furniture. My phone started buzzing. Nathan calling back. I declined it. It buzzed again. A text this time. Come on, Monica, don't be like this. We really need you. Just finish the drive, help us load the truck, and you can leave. It'll take like 2 hours max. I stared at that message for a long time. Then I typed a response. No. His reply came back immediately. Seriously? You're already 4 hours in. Don't waste the drive. I typed very slowly, very carefully. I drove through a tropical storm because I thought our mother was dying. I hydroplaned and almost crashed. I could have been killed. And you think I should finish the drive to help you move a couch? 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. You're being dramatic. You're fine. Come on, family helps family. I started laughing. Sitting there alone in my car on the shoulder of a highway in the middle of a storm, I laughed until tears ran down my face. Then I put my phone down, checked my mirrors, and pulled back onto the highway, heading the opposite direction, going home. The drive back was 7 hours instead of 7 because I stopped every hour to rest, to breathe, to convince myself I was making the right choice. My phone didn't stop buzzing the entire time. Nathan called 6 times. I didn't answer. My mother called 3 times. I didn't answer. My father called once, left a voicemail I didn't listen to. The texts piled up. From Nathan, you're really not coming? We needed you today. From my mother, Monica, your brother is very stressed about this move. The least you could do is help your family. From Nathan again, fine, be selfish. Don't help. We'll remember this. From my mother again, you're making this harder than it needs to be. We're your family. You're supposed to be there for us. I didn't respond to any of them. I got home at 11:47 p.m., 14 hours after I'd left. I walked into my apartment, dropped my keys on the counter, and stood in my kitchen, trying to remember what it felt like to be the person who had woken up that morning. That person would have driven through a hurricane to help her family. That person was gone now. I opened my laptop and logged into Facebook. I typed for 20 minutes, deleting and rewriting, trying to find the right words. Finally, I posted. Today I drove 7 hours through Tropical Storm Helena because my brother called and told me our mother had fallen down the stairs and was in the ER asking for me. I hydroplaned on the highway and nearly crashed. I was terrified and crying and pushing through dangerous conditions because I thought my mother needed me. 4 hours into the drive, my brother called back to tell me it was a lie. Mom was fine. They wanted free help moving furniture and knew I wouldn't drive through a storm for that, so they lied about a medical emergency. When I refused to continue driving to help them move, I was called selfish and dramatic. I'm posting this publicly because I want everyone to understand something. If you lie about emergencies to manipulate people, don't be surprised when they stop believing you, even when it's real. I've blocked my brother's number. If there's ever an actual emergency in the future, I'll hear about it from someone else who hasn't used medical crises as a manipulation tactic. To everyone who has ever been guilt-tripped into sacrificing their safety or well-being for people who don't respect them, you're not selfish for setting boundaries. You're not dramatic for being angry when people lie to you. You're allowed to protect yourself from people who would rather risk your life than hire movers. I posted it. Then I closed my laptop and went to bed. The fallout started the next morning. I woke up to 147 Facebook notifications, messages from relatives I hadn't spoken to in years, comments from family friends, shares from people I'd never met. The post had gone viral in our extended family and social circle. Everyone had an opinion. My Aunt Linda, my mother's sister, commented, "I just called your mother. She confirmed this is exactly what happened. I'm horrified. You could have been killed." My cousin Derek, "This is insane. Nathan should be ashamed of himself." A family friend, "I once drove through a snowstorm because your mom said she was sick. When I got there, she was fine and wanted me to help her reorganize her garage. This family has a pattern." That comment made me sit up in bed. I'd never known my mother had done this to other people. My Uncle Paul, my father's brother, sent me a private message. "Your father called me this morning asking me to tell you to take down the post." I told him absolutely not. What Nathan did was dangerous and manipulative. I'm glad you're okay. But of course, there were other messages too. From my mother's best friend, "Family drama should stay private. You're embarrassing your parents by posting this publicly." From a second cousin I'd met twice, "Everyone makes mistakes. You're holding a grudge over an honest miscommunication." From Nathan himself, in a text that came through before I'd blocked him, "You're trying to turn the whole family against me over a stupid misunderstanding." Real mature, Monica. I read that last one 3 times. A stupid misunderstanding. That's what he was calling it. Not a lie. Not a manipulation. A misunderstanding. As if I had somehow misunderstood, Mom fell down the stairs and is in the ER asking for you. I didn't respond. I just added his number to my block list and watched it disappear. 3 days later, my mother showed up at my apartment. I answered the door because I didn't check the peephole. The second I saw her standing there, I knew I'd made a mistake. "We need to talk," she said. "No, we don't." I started to close the door. She put her hand on it. "Monica, please. 5 minutes." I should have said no. I should have closed the door and locked it and let her stand in the hallway making a scene if that's what she wanted to do. But 32 years of conditioning don't disappear overnight, so I stepped back and let her in. She walked into my living room and turned to face me, arms crossed. She looked tired, older than I remembered. "You've embarrassed this entire family," she said. "No hello, no how are you. Straight to the accusation." "Nathan lied to me," I said calmly. "He told me you were in the hospital, so I drive through a tropical storm to help him move furniture. I almost died. And you think I'm the one who should be embarrassed? He made a mistake. He made a choice. There's a difference." She shook her head. "You're being dramatic. You didn't almost die. You're fine." I hydroplaned going 50 miles an hour. My car slid across 2 lanes of traffic. If there had been another car there, I would be dead. But sure, Mom, I'm being dramatic. You're blowing this out of proportion to punish your brother. I'm setting a boundary to protect myself from someone who thinks my life is worth less than the cost of hiring movers. He's your brother. Family forgives family. And there it was, the line I'd been waiting for, the one I'd heard my entire life whenever someone in our family did something wrong. Family forgives family. Family helps family. Family doesn't hold grudges. Family is more important than your feelings. I'd heard these lines so many times they'd become background noise. The soundtrack to a lifetime of being told that my hurt didn't matter as much as keeping the peace. But standing there in my living room looking at my mother's expectant face, I realized something. I didn't believe them anymore. "You're right," I said quietly. "Family should forgive family. But family also shouldn't lie about medical emergencies. Family shouldn't manipulate each other into risking their lives. And family shouldn't show up at someone's apartment to defend the person who did the manipulating instead of apologizing to the person who was hurt." My mother's expression hardened. "So that's it? You're cutting us off over this?" "I'm protecting myself from people who think family means I'm not allowed to be angry when they lie to me. You'll regret this. Maybe, but I won't regret it as much as I'd regret answering the phone the next time Nathan calls with a fake emergency." She stared at me for a long moment. Then she turned and walked to the door. She paused with her hand on the doorknob. "When you're ready to apologize and be part of this family again, you know where to find us. I'm not the one who needs to apologize." She left without another word. I stood in my living room for a long time after she was gone, waiting to feel something. Guilt, regret, doubt. But all I felt was tired. It's been 4 months since the hurricane. Nathan never apologized. My mother still thinks I'm being dramatic. My father sent me one text 3 weeks after everything happened. "I wish you'd reconsider. Life's too short for grudges." I didn't respond. But here's what has happened in those 4 months. My Aunt Linda started having coffee with me every other weekend. She told me she'd been wanting to distance herself from my mother for years, but never felt like she had permission. My post gave her that permission. My cousin Derek invited me to his daughter's birthday party. It was the first family event I'd been to, where I wasn't expected to help set up, serve food, clean up, or do anything except enjoy myself. My Uncle Paul told me that 3 other family members had come to him privately with stories about being manipulated by my mother and Nathan with fake emergencies and guilt trips. No one had ever talked about it openly before. And I started going to therapy. Not because I thought I was wrong, but because I needed help understanding why it took me 32 years and a near-death experience to realize that the people who were supposed to love me had been treating me like an unpaid employee whose feelings didn't matter. My therapist asked me once what I would say to someone else in my situation, someone whose family lied to them about an emergency to get free labor. someone who almost died because of that lie. I told her I'd say they had every right to be angry, that they weren't being dramatic, that protecting yourself from people who manipulate you isn't cruel, it's necessary. She asked me why I couldn't say those same things to myself. I didn't have a good answer, but I'm working on it. The truth I learned is this: some people will use the word family as a weapon to keep you from setting boundaries. They'll tell you that family forgives, family helps, family doesn't hold grudges, and they'll say it right up until the moment you ask them to stop hurting you. Then suddenly family stops meaning unconditional love and starts meaning unconditional access to you, regardless of how they treat you. I don't regret my decision. I regret that it took a hurricane and a lie and a moment where I thought I was going to die to finally see what had been happening my entire life. But I'm seeing it now, and I'm not going back. If you're reading this and you recognize yourself in my story, if you've ever driven through a storm, literal or metaphor, because someone told you it was an emergency, only to find out they just wanted something from you, let me tell you something important. You're not being selfish for saying no next time. You're not being dramatic for being hurt. And you're not required to set yourself on fire to keep people warm who wouldn't cross the street to help you. Family is supposed to protect you, not risk your life for free labor.